There are all kinds of Vince McMahon stories from several people who worked backstage in WWE. Whether it's talent, producers, creative writers, or anyone else, several people working backstage get involved with McMahon. This story from former creative writer and famous actor Freddie Prinze Jr. certainly takes the cake. Prinze Jr., famously known for his movies in the late 1990s and early 2000s, She's All That, Scooby-Doo, I Know What You Did Last Summer, had a tenure as a WWE creative writer between 2008 and 2009. He recently opened up about several of his experiences working backstage in WWE, including his interactions with WWE Chairman Vince McMahon. Speaking on his Wrestling with Freddie podcast, the actor and former creative writer recounted a bizarre instance where Vince McMahon held a promo class and wanted four-time world champion Sheamus and Wade Barrett to pretend to act like dogs. Vince McMahon gathered the talent, agents, and writers in one room and explained to the superstars in particular what they're lacking. Prinze explained what McMahon said in detail. "Now you're going to show me what you got. Let me get some volunteers." A few people put their hands up. Sheamus gets up and walks to the front. He takes initiative. He doesn't wait for someone to say yes. He takes initiative, and Vince likes that. That's an alpha move. Wade Barrett gets up next. "We have an Englishman and an Irishman. This should be a really easy promo for these guys to cut." Vince said, "I'm going to give you a premise. You're a dog and you're a dog. Now make me want to watch you fight." My heart stops and I'm not even the one doing it. You can feel the panic. Everyone got tight. There was so much tension. You can see sweat beads all over Wade Barrett's forehead. Sheamus is stone quiet. He doesn't move. Prinze Jr. went on to describe the highly uncomfortable situation and how McMahon canceled the class. "They're frozen. 30 seconds go by, not a sound. 45 seconds go by, nothing. I'm dying. I want to jump up and say, stop. It's like watching a murder. A minute goes by," Sheamus says by accident out loud. "I think I'm having an out-of-body experience," and no one laughs, because they can't believe that it just came out of his mouth. Wade takes the first step, he growls, and as soon as he growls, and Vince gets up and yells, "Not an actual f***ing dog. Son of a b," and he storms out of the room. He came back and said, "Let's try again. Sheamus is going to be the babyface dog," and he starts talking. He said, "I'm a good old dog. I'm loyal," and Vince said, "Just forget the whole damn thing," and storms off. Promo class is cancelled. Ultimately, it seems to have been a miscommunication between the talent and Vince, many of whom weren't aware of the terminology that the WWE chairman was using. In a move that not many people would have done, Freddie Prinze Jr. approached McMahon 5 minutes after the debacle and explained why the superstars were being set up to fail in such situations. He explained to McMahon that not only was he using terminology that the superstars didn't understand, but they were also nervous to fail in front of people who make decisions about their entire career. Instead, Prinze Jr. pitched an idea to Vince McMahon. He offered to host acting classes in an empty room so that the superstars could learn the way he and other successful Hollywood actors learned. McMahon simply told him to find a stage manager and have it arranged, so he did. He said that the following week, the stage manager did exactly that and set up a room or promo classes. When Freddie Prinze Jr. walked in, he described it as a utility closet about the size of a prison cell in Alcatraz. What do you think of Vince McMahon's unusual way of training WWE superstars? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. WWE legend Jeff Hardy was reportedly sent home after a match with Roman Reigns and the Usos at a WWE Super Show in Edinburgh, Texas. Hardy teamed up with former WWE champion Drew McIntyre and Xavier Woods at the live event. The trio took on the Bloodline, Roman Reigns and the Usos, in a 6-man tag team match. Jeff Hardy didn't appear at tonight's WWE live event in Corpus Christi, Texas. As per a report by PW Insider, the charismatic Enigma was sent home from the road shortly after his in-ring outing with Roman Reigns and the Usos. The match saw Hardy doing most of the work and going at it with the Bloodline. Hardy made a hot tag to Drew McIntyre and vanished into the crowd with security following him. He didn't return to the ring for the post-match celebration after the babyfaces won the bout. Tonight in Corpus Christi, the WWE veteran was replaced by Rey Mysterio, and PW Insider has confirmed that Hardy wasn't backstage at the event. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful has confirmed PW Insider's report and provided an update on Jeff Hardy as well. Unfortunately can confirm PW Insider's report that Jeff Hardy was sent home after what was called a rough night for him. That became evident as last night's live event match went on. "Best wishes to Hardy," wrote Sapp. Fans in attendance at last night's event noticed that something seemed off about Jeff Hardy. The SmackDown superstar looked sluggish in the ring during the 6-man tag team match with Roman Reigns and the Usos, as noted by PW Insider as well. Jeff Hardy's fans are concerned over his well-being after reports of him being sent home surfaced. "We wish the very best to Jeff Hardy and hopes he makes a swift return. We'll provide more updates on the charismatic Enigma as and when they come out." On the most recent episode of WWE SmackDown, Sami Zayn was viciously attacked by Brock Lesnar and squashed by Roman Reigns in the main event. In the aftermath of the show, Zayn took to social media to break his silence. The blue brand opened with the Beast Incarnate revealing his intention to go after the prestigious Universal Championship. He was then confronted by Sami Zayn, who earned the right to become the #1 contender for the title after he outlasted 19 other stars to win a battle royal. Brock Lesnar demanded that Zayn face Roman Reigns that night instead of WWE Day 1, where the bout was originally supposed to occur. In the closing moments of the show, Lesnar cost Sami Zayn the opportunity to win his first world title in the company. The latter took to Twitter to share a photo of himself and Brock with the caption, "This could be us, but you playing." Sami Zayn is one of the most talented superstars in WWE right now. He has done a phenomenal job of portraying a heel for over 2 years, and it's possible that he might turn babyface soon. It would make perfect sense, since he was victimized on SmackDown, which made fans feel sympathy for him. There are many things Zayn could do on the blue brand. He could get back into the Intercontinental Championship picture and start a feud with his old ally, Nakamura. The two stars have a long history together, so it would be pretty easy to come up with a storyline for them. Meanwhile, Brock Lesnar will receive his Universal Championship match on Day 1 when he goes to battle against the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. Who do you think will emerge victorious when Brock Lesnar challenges WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns on Day 1? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. WWE legend Mark Henry has suggested that Sami Zayn could get yet another opportunity at the Universal Championship due to an underlying deal with Paul Heyman. Zayn was scammed out of the world title on last week's SmackDown as he was destroyed by Brock Lesnar before he clashed with Roman Reigns. The Tribal Chief scored an easy win over Zayn, who stood no chance after the attack by the Beast Incarnate. WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry thinks there could be a twist in the Reigns-Lesnar storyline, and Zayn could very well play a part. While speaking on the Busted Open radio show, the current AEW star said Zayn could help Reigns retain his title against Lesnar at Day 1, thereby earning another title shot against the Tribal Chief. Maybe the revenge factor is in. You're talking about turning the business on its ear with all the stuff that's going on. Imagine the Sami parade if he pulled the rug from under, and there was some underlying deal with Paul Heyman that would get him a title shot. See, that's how my brain works. I want everybody to think, like, that was crazy, and we don't get that much. The Day 1 pay-per-view will take place on January 1, 2022. Lesnar and Reigns will face off at Day 1 for the second time since Crown Jewel 2021 in Saudi Arabia. Apart from the Roman Reigns vs. Brock Lesnar rematch at the first WWE pay-per-view in 2022, 2 other matches have been confirmed for the show. Big E will defend his WWE Championship against Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, while the Usos will put their SmackDown Tag Team titles on the line against King Woods and Kofi Kingston. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar are set to face off for the second time in a few months on January 1, 2022. The newly titled WWE Pay-Per-View Day 1 will be headlined by another bout between the Tribal Chief and the Beast Incarnate. Given the WrestleMania 38 rumors, we now have wind over the endgame to this feud. Many fans were surprised when it was revealed on SmackDown that Brock Lesnar would face Roman Reigns on Day 1. Sami Zayn originally seemed scheduled for a bout against Reigns at the pay-per-view, but Lesnar convinced the #1 contender to get his shot on SmackDown. After quickly beating Zayn, Roman Reigns' match against Brock Lesnar was made official. According to Dave Meltzer of F4W Online, the plan is for WWE to have a series of matches between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Regarding Roman Reigns vs. Brock Lesnar as the main event for Day 1, this is scheduled to be a multi-match series, and this being one of the matches in the series. This means that the storyline will likely extend until WrestleMania 38. Brock Lesnar is advertised for the 2022 Royal Rumble, and many expect him to participate in the namesake match, one that he hasn't won since 2003. However, Lesnar could be the favorite to win the Royal Rumble for the second time in his career and go on to headline WrestleMania once more against Roman Reigns. While many fans were hoping for a Roman Reigns vs. The Rock match, that doesn't seem to be in the works for WrestleMania 38 at all. Instead, Roman Reigns vs. Brock Lesnar is expected to headline WrestleMania for the third time in 6 years. Given that Roman Reigns is now 463 days into his Universal Championship reign, he will surpass Brock Lesnar's record-breaking run a little after Day 1. It seems as though Brock Lesnar could be the person who ultimately dethrones Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 38 in the AT&T Stadium.